Doctor, there are nights I just can't sleep. My chest feels like it's on fire, and my throat like I'm swallowing acid. I know it's my stomach, but I'm tired of taking pills. I've been on them forever and nothing's changing. The elderly woman sat in front of me, her voice raspy from sleeplessness, her eyes dull, looking down at her frail, trembling hands. I didn't rush to answer. I just sat there silently, watching the exhaustion of someone who has lived more than 70 years. Someone who has endured countless sleepless nights in silence. Then I looked into her eyes and gently asked, "Have you ever thought that maybe, just maybe, there's something magical hidden right in your own kitchen?" Growing old isn't just about gray hair or stiff knees. It's the restless nights. It's waking up with an aching body, a dry mouth, a heavy belly, and a spirit that feels like it's sinking lower each day. It's the loneliness you feel inside your own body, where every part of you seems to be slowly giving out, and every pain is a quiet reminder. You're no longer in control. But what weighs on me the most is knowing that too many seniors like her are quietly suffering through this. And worse, they accept it, as if this discomfort is just a normal part of getting older. They've gotten used to it, used to the pain, used to just putting up with it. But I can't accept that, because I know there's another way. Today, I'm not going to talk about prescriptions. I'm not going to push some expensive supplements or fancy treatments either. I want to tell you about something so simple, so ordinary, that you might have never seen it as a solution. But used the right way, it can change the way you sleep, the way your digestion works, and even how you feel about aging itself. I'm talking about baking soda. Yes, that plain white powder sitting in your cupboard, but not for baking, not for deodorizing. Used in a certain way, baking soda can become a gentle support system, quietly helping to repair what time has tried to wear down, night by night, day by day. If you've ever laid awake wondering, is there any way I can sleep well without relying on pills? If you've ever whispered to yourself, I wish I didn't feel so bloated or suffer from reflux every night, then I invite you to stay with this video until the very end, because what I'm about to share isn't just a tip or a trick. It's a new way of living, a new way of listening to your body, a new chance to reclaim the peace you've been missing. And if any part of this speaks to your heart, I warmly invite you to leave a comment below. I'm ready to learn how to use baking soda the right way. Sometimes your words might be the light someone else, someone just like you, is searching for. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, because I believe every video from now on will be a small gift for your health and for your journey through aging. Part 1. Reduce post-exercise soreness. There's something that always stays on my mind during my visits with older patients, and that is the helpless look on their faces when they talk about the pain that follows even the simplest of activities. An easy afternoon of gardening, a short stroll around the house, or a routine physical therapy session prescribed by their doctor. None of these would be worth complaining about for someone young. But for an older adult, these little things can crush their spirit in a single day. Take Ellen, 72, a former physical education teacher. She was never afraid to move. In fact, she enjoyed the feeling of sweating after a morning walk. But with age came changes no one told her about. Just a few minutes of brisk walking, and by the next day her knees would be swollen, her calves stiff as stone. She started avoiding the outdoors, skipping her gentle exercise classes. "I'm not lazy, doctor," she told me. "I'm just afraid of the pain." And that's the vicious cycle many older adults are trapped in. The less they move, the weaker they get. But when they do move, the aching pain makes it feel like too high a price. What they don't realize is that sometimes that pain isn't a sign of frailty or aging. It's simply the result of lactic acid building up in the muscles after activity. Our muscles release this acid after movement, especially in muscles we don't use often. And as we age, the process of removing lactic acid slows down, so the pain lasts longer. That's where baking soda quietly steps in as a silent ally. Few people know that baking soda, also called sodium bicarbonate, is more than just a white powder you keep in the kitchen. It's actually one of the strongest natural alkaline buffers the human body can handle. When dissolved in warm water and taken into the body, baking soda acts like a cushion, neutralizing the excess lactic acid in the muscles. This quickly eases soreness, soothes tight muscles, and most importantly, it helps older adults recover faster, feel more in control, and avoid relying on painkillers after every little bit of movement. There's something many patients have told me that I'll never forget. They said just one warm glass of water with a little baking soda after walking or gardening made them feel recharged. Not the kind of energy you get from coffee, but a sense of lightness and warmth, as if their body was quietly healing itself on its own terms. And that feeling, that quiet strength, is exactly what I want you to experience. A gentle glass of warm water after activity. No fancy medications, no big costs, just 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda dissolved in about 8 ounces of water, roughly 240 milliliters. Sip slowly after light movement like walking, gardening, or physical rehabilitation. Just once a day on the days when you've done a bit more than usual, and your body will thank you with steadier steps, less pain, and less fatigue. But what's most remarkable isn't just the physical recovery, it's the mental shift. Knowing that you can move without fear of pain, that you no longer hesitate every time you want to step outside, that each step no longer comes with a painful price. That's when you reclaim ownership of your body, something age should never take away from you. And when you hurt less, you move more. When you move more, you live more independently. And when you live independently, you feel respected. You feel like the one steering your journey through old age, not being dragged along by it. Part 2, Balancing pH, Supporting Your Whole Body and Skin. When I asked Mr. Walter, a 75-year-old patient living alone in Minnesota, what tired him the most about getting older, he didn't mention aching knees or trouble sleeping. He just looked at me with a weary smile and said, "It's this deep fatigue that no one really understands. It's not like I need to sleep more. It's like every cell in my body is fighting something silently, every single day." His words left me silent for a long moment, because I knew he wasn't alone. Many seniors feel this way, a quiet kind of exhaustion, hard to explain. They go to doctors, get blood tests, heart checks, lung scans, sugar levels. All results come back normal. Yet their body feels heavy, joints ache, skin turns dry and dull, and their mood floats like a gray cloud that never clears. What few people know is that the root cause could be a hidden pH imbalance in the blood, a state known as mild acidosis. It's not a disease, but a physiological condition where the body carries slightly more acid than it should. It's often caused by chronic stress, a diet heavy in red meat and low in vegetables, weakened kidneys, or lungs that can no longer expel CO2 efficiently. In seniors, this happens far more often than most realize. The kidneys, which are mainly responsible for maintaining pH balance, start declining after the age of 60. Lung function also drops. And as a result, the body slides into a low-grade, silent inflammation, making you feel tired, achy, restless, your skin dry, and your healing slower. But because it creeps in so gradually, no one really notices. It's like a candle burning down in the dark. And once again, baking soda, that tiny white humble powder, offers a quiet solution. When used in the proper dosage, baking soda doesn't disrupt your body's natural chemistry. On the contrary, it acts as a natural buffer, helping to gently adjust your blood's pH back toward balance, reducing inflammation, supporting cellular recovery, and gradually lifting the weight of constant fatigue. I still remember a woman named Marlene, 68, who told me, "Doctor, my skin feels like snake skin, so dry and itchy, especially when the weather turns cold." After checking her over and finding no serious skin condition, I simply suggested she soak in a warm bath twice a week with 2 tablespoons of baking soda dissolved in the water. That was all. 2 weeks later, she came back, not to complain, but to smile. "My skin feels so much calmer, but the strange thing is, I'm sleeping better too. I wake up feeling lighter, not sore like before. It's like my skin and my whole body were comforted all night long." And I believe that wasn't just a feeling, it was real. Because when you heal from the inside, when your blood is cleaner, your tissues less inflamed, and your skin is soothed, your entire body feels like it's coming back to life. And starting this change isn't hard. Begin gently with a warm glass of water in the morning, just 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda in 8 ounces of water. Drink this 2 to 3 times per week and simply listen to your body. That subtle freshness you feel, the lighter mind, the calmer skin, and the gradual return of energy. You'll notice it in your own unique way. And if you struggle with dry, itchy skin, especially the kind that worsens after hot showers, try this natural therapy. Dissolve 2 tablespoons of baking soda into a bathtub of warm water, about 15 gallons, which is 1 standard tub, and soak for 15 minutes twice a week. No soap needed, no expensive creams, just warm water and quiet healing. As you soak, picture your body being restored. Each pore opening, each cell being cleansed, every silent bit of inflammation easing away. You don't need to understand all the biology, you just need to feel it. Because sometimes the most powerful healing comes from the simplest things. Never underestimate the small imbalances inside your body, because it's often those quiet, gradual imbalances that make aging feel heavy and slow. But just as quietly, with something as small as a glass of baking soda water or a simple bath, you can begin to restore that balance and give your body a precious gift, the feeling of deep wellness, not from medicine, but from your own body remembering how to heal itself. Part 3. Soothing mouth sores and bad breath. There's something most younger people don't understand. It's that awful feeling when you wake up in the morning with a bitter, dry mouth and a breath that carries a scent you'd rather not talk about. George, an 82-year-old war veteran, once told me that after surviving years of combat, what made him feel truly helpless was something tiny, right at the tip of his tongue. "It's just a tiny sore, Doc, but it keeps me from eating, from sleeping well, and even from smiling." I fell silent when he said that, because I knew a sore, painful mouth and unpleasant breath aren't just physically uncomfortable. They quietly steal your confidence. Seniors already speak less than most people, and when they're afraid others will notice their breath, they start withdrawing even more. Meals become harder to enjoy, conversations become sparse, and at family gatherings they often choose to sit in the corners, just so no one catches a whiff of their breath. But it doesn't have to be this way, because the truth is, the solution might be sitting right there in your kitchen. Baking soda, when used as a gentle mouth rinse, can help soothe mouth sores, neutralize acidic environments in the mouth, and significantly reduce bad breath without the stinging burn of alcohol-based mouthwashes. You might not know this, but older adults often suffer from dry mouth due to medications like blood pressure pills, diabetes treatments, or antidepressants. These reduce saliva production, and saliva is the body's natural defense against odor-causing bacteria. When this barrier weakens, bacteria thrive, leading to gum inflammation, ulcers, and that unpleasant smell. And when the mouth becomes more acidic, it only accelerates this process. That's where baking soda steps in as a natural alkaline buffer. It helps balance the pH of the mouth, slows down bacterial growth, soothes mouth ulcers, and supports faster healing of oral tissues. I once suggested this to Maria, a 74-year-old woman who wore dentures and was struggling. I told her, instead of using over-the-counter mouthwash, why not try this? Each morning and night, mix half a teaspoon of baking soda with 6 ounces of warm water. Swish it gently for 30 seconds. Don't swallow, just rinse and spit. Just 1 week later, she returned looking like a new woman. "Doctor," she said, "it's like my mouth can breathe again. No more stinging like with salt water. No more strange smell that made me avoid speaking. I feel more confident, and oddly enough, I'm sleeping better too." I smiled because I knew that true healing doesn't always come from prescriptions. It comes from being seen, from being cared for, and from realizing you still have the power to change. Every morning when you stand in front of the mirror, don't just rush through brushing your teeth. Take an extra minute to rinse gently with baking soda as a daily ritual of self-care, as a way of telling your body, "I'm still here. I still care for you. Even at 70 or 80, I'm still loving you." Just half a teaspoon of baking soda mixed with 6 ounces of warm water, twice a day, morning and evening, can make a world of difference, especially for those dealing with dry mouth from medication, wearing dentures, or suffering from recurring mouth sores. And the difference won't just be in your mouth. You'll feel it in your mood, in your sense of dignity. And that's what truly matters. The feeling of being renewed, of being clean, of starting fresh. One day, one step at a time. From something as simple as a mouth rinse, you begin to reclaim something precious that many at this age often lose: the confidence to smile, to speak, to connect with life again. Part 4. Help with gout flares. I'll never forget my conversation with Mr. Henry, a 78-year-old man who used to be a watch repairman. His hands had once been steady and precise, assembling the tiniest gears for nearly 40 years, but now they trembled from joint pain. Yet it wasn't his hands that hurt the most. It was the joint in his big toe, where gout kept returning like a curse. "Even a light blanket brushing over it makes me scream," he said. "It's not pain, it's torment." And I understood. Because gout isn't just a disease of the joints. It's the quiet isolation that seeps in every morning when you can't even step out of bed. Gout is a painful type of arthritis caused when uric acid builds up in the blood and crystallizes into sharp, glass-like fragments that lodge themselves in the joints, especially in the feet, knees, and ankles. These crystals stab into the joint lining, causing swelling, intense redness, burning heat, and such unbearable pain that some elderly patients sit frozen for hours, afraid to even twitch. Sometimes even the touch of a bedsheet feels like torture. As we age, the kidney's ability to remove uric acid declines. At that point, gently helping the body become slightly more alkaline can assist in dissolving some of the lingering uric acid, potentially reducing flare-ups. One of the simplest morning habits you can try is mixing baking soda with filtered water. Sodium bicarbonate, the main ingredient in baking soda, acts as a natural alkaline buffer. It can lower blood acidity slightly, neutralize excess uric acid, and encourage the kidneys to flush it out more efficiently. Preliminary research suggests that using baking soda correctly may help lower serum uric acid levels, reduce inflammation, and shorten gout attacks. Of course, I always remind people this is not a replacement for medical treatment, but it can be a powerful supportive habit, especially for those managing gout through lifestyle changes. Many of my patients say drinking baking soda in the morning feels like a quiet ritual of recovery. Gentle, safe, and most importantly, it gives them a sense of control over their own body. I advise Mr. Henry to mix about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda into 8 ounces of water and drink it on an empty stomach each morning, about 30 minutes before breakfast, just 4 days a week. Alongside that, I recommended a low-purine diet, cutting back on red meat, organ meats, and high-protein seafood, and staying hydrated to support the kidneys. He followed the advice faithfully, and 2 months later, he returned with a relieved smile. "For the first time in 5 years," he told me, "I haven't had to jump out of bed at night from the pain." It wasn't a miracle. It didn't require an ER visit. Just understanding his body and making gentle, consistent changes. Because sometimes true stability doesn't come from grand actions, but from small, steady habits. Especially at this age, when every pain-free day feels like a gift, and every easy step is something worth treasuring. I want you to experience that too. The feeling of being in control of your pain, of no longer fearing the morning because a gout flare could strike at any time. Just 1 small glass of baking soda water each morning could help you step out of that painful cycle of fear, exhaustion, and anxiety. Let it be an act of self-love, not loud or dramatic, but deep enough to make a real difference. And if you're someone who's been battling gout every day, I hope you'll try. Not to replace your doctor, but to gently remind yourself, I'm still fighting, and I deserve to feel well. Part 5. Support kidney function. After watching her husband go through dialysis 3 times a week, Ruth, 72 years old, became determined to do everything in her power to protect her kidneys for as long as possible. She once told me during a consultation, "I've seen the exhaustion, the dependency, and that helpless look in his eyes every time he was hooked up to that machine. I don't want to end up like that." Her words weren't just about fear for her health. They reflected a deeper fear of losing her independence, of losing the ability to care for herself in her later years. And when she discovered that something as simple and gentle as a glass of water mixed with baking soda could help ease the daily burden on her kidneys, she held on to it like a small lifeline in a stormy sea. Kidneys at any age are vital organs. They cleanse the blood, remove waste, balance fluid and salt levels, and most importantly, help regulate the body's pH. But over time, aging, diabetes, high blood pressure, and decades of acid-heavy diets wear them down. In older adults, kidneys no longer function as efficiently. The ability to remove excess acid slows, leading to a condition called chronic metabolic acidosis. It's a subtle shift, but it quietly drives kidney damage forward, bit by bit, every single day. This is where baking soda, sodium bicarbonate, can act as a natural alkaline buffer. When used correctly, it helps neutralize some of the excess acid in the blood, eases the strain on the kidneys, and supports the body in maintaining a healthier blood pH. This isn't just theory. Clinical studies have shown that early-stage chronic kidney patients who were prescribed low doses of baking soda experienced slower decline in kidney function. Some were even able to delay or completely avoid the need for dialysis for a long time. For seniors, the true value of this isn't just medical, it's emotional, it's hope, it's taking charge. It's the powerful feeling of control. Each morning, as they mix their glass of baking soda water and drink it before breakfast, they don't feel like they're taking medicine. They feel like they're making a quiet but powerful choice to care for their own body. They're no longer passive in their health journey. They become the ones deciding how they want to age. I once guided Ruth to mix 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda into 8 ounces of filtered water, roughly 240 milliliters, and drink it each morning before breakfast, 3 to 4 times a week. 3 months later, her follow-up test showed stable kidney filtration, no further decline. But what mattered even more was what she told me with a gentle smile. I feel like I've made peace with my body. Of course, it's important to note that baking soda is not for everyone. Those in late-stage kidney disease, or individuals with edema or high blood pressure, must be closely monitored by their doctor. Baking soda is best suited for people in the early stages of mild acidosis or stage 2 to 3 chronic kidney disease, where the kidneys can still respond without being overwhelmed. Don't underestimate the power of a small glass of water, because it's often the smallest, most consistent actions, when done with knowledge and self-respect, that bring about the biggest changes. And if you're worried that you might be the next one facing dialysis, start tomorrow morning. Mix yourself a gentle glass of baking soda water as a daily reminder that you still have the chance to change your path. And you deserve that chance, not just to live longer, but to live independently, freely, and without dependence on cold, humming medical machines. Part 6. Ease urinary tract discomfort. There's a type of discomfort that many older adults, especially women, quietly endure, rarely spoken about yet deeply affecting their daily life. It's not loud, but it lingers. It may not seem dangerous at first, but it chips away at both physical comfort and personal dignity. It's the discomfort of urination. Burning, mild stinging, needing to go too often, especially at night. Each trip to the bathroom becomes a moment of anxiety, afraid it will burn, afraid it will ruin another night of sleep, afraid it will trigger yet another exhausting, misunderstood day. Helen, 72, once told me, "Only someone who's had to get up every 30 minutes at night to use the bathroom knows how miserable it is. I've stopped allowing myself to sleep deeply because just a tiny bit of stinging will wake me for the rest of the night. I wake up feeling like I never even rested." For cases like Helen's, baking soda has become a simple yet hopeful support tool. It's not a medicine. It doesn't replace antibiotics, but it can help restore balance to the urinary environment, where bacteria can easily thrive if the urine is too acidic. By drinking a warm glass of water mixed with the right amount of baking soda, seniors can sometimes feel relief from within, as if a soft alkaline buffer is gently easing the burning, the stinging, and the anxiety that follows every trip to the bathroom. In some early studies, older women who used baking soda alongside a healthy diet reported fewer recurrent urinary tract flare-ups, and, most notably, less pain and discomfort. Of course, this isn't a cure, but it's a starting point, one that helps seniors feel more empowered in caring for themselves. Less dependent on medication, less fearful of going to the bathroom, and most importantly, more connected to their own wellness journey. To try it, you can mix 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda with about 6 ounces of warm water, roughly 180 milliliters, and drink it when you experience burning or unusual frequency in urination. Use no more than once per day and for no longer than 3 consecutive days. If the symptoms persist, or if you develop a fever, cloudy urine, or see blood, then it's no longer something mild. See a doctor immediately. Baking soda is not a cure for infections. Sometimes the real miracle isn't in an expensive prescription, but in the quiet, thoughtful steps you take for yourself every day. A simple glass of warm water with a bit of baking soda may not cure your condition, but it can give you the strength of knowing you're fighting back, you're taking control, you're caring for your body. And for older adults, that feeling is its own kind of power. Part 7. Relieve heartburn and acid reflux. One small discomfort can ruin an otherwise peaceful evening. That burning sensation that rises from your stomach to your chest, sometimes even reaching your throat. For many older adults, this isn't an occasional nuisance. It's a regular companion after meals. Agnes, 71, told me, "I love creamy mushroom soup with toasted buttered bread. But if I eat even a little too late, I end up sitting up panting until midnight. I can't lie down, and even swallowing feels hot." Nights like that fracture her sleep, and the following morning she feels drained, irritable, and uninterested in doing anything. Seniors are more prone to acid reflux because the muscles that tighten the esophagus weaken with age. Add to that the effects of medication, slower digestion, stress, high-fat meals, or simply lying down too soon after eating, and you've got a recipe for acid flowing back into the esophagus, triggering painful heartburn. During those moments, one simple yet remarkably effective remedy is baking soda, sodium bicarbonate, a kitchen staple in most homes. Mixing 1/2 teaspoon, about 2.5 grams, of baking soda into 4 to 6 ounces, 120 to 180 milliliters, of warm water creates a solution that can rapidly neutralize stomach acid. Chemically, baking soda reacts with hydrochloric acid, HCl, in the stomach, producing salt, water, and carbon dioxide gas. This reaction helps reduce stomach acidity and soothes the irritated lining of the esophagus. Many seniors who've tried it report feeling noticeable relief from the burning within just 5 to 10 minutes. But what matters even more than the chemistry is the feeling of control, the sense that I still know how to help my body without relying on prescription drugs. For older adults, that sense of self-reliance is deeply meaningful. It rekindles the feeling of autonomy, something many believe they've lost as they grow older. An evening can end in one of two ways, either tossing and turning in discomfort from relentless heartburn, or calmly sipping a warm glass of baking soda water, feeling the burn gradually fade from your chest, then lying down with a more peaceful heart, breathing more steadily, and falling into deep, restful sleep. But this remedy isn't something to overuse. If you have high blood pressure, heart disease, or kidney issues, you should consult your doctor first, because baking soda contains sodium, which can burden the kidneys or raise blood pressure if taken too often. And if you find yourself needing it more than once a day, or for more than 7 consecutive days, it's time to see a specialist for a proper diagnosis. However, if used no more than once daily, 30 minutes after a meal, and for no longer than a week at a time, this is a safe, practical, and highly effective way for seniors to reduce reflux, sleep better, and enjoy calmer evenings. Recommended dosage: 1/2 teaspoon baking soda, about 2.5 grams. Mix with 4 to 6 ounces warm water, 120 to 180 milliliters. Drink 30 minutes after a meal if heartburn symptoms appear. Frequency: no more than once per day and not longer than 7 days in a row. With one small intentional act, you're opening the door to a more comfortable night. No more tossing, no more clutching your chest, and no more broken sleep. That's the power of taking charge, a seemingly tiny gesture that can gently lift an aging spirit and bring peace back to your evenings. Old age is not the end of health. It's the beginning of living more mindfully, more gently, and more wisely with every small choice you make each day. Just one properly prepared glass of baking soda water each morning can soothe your throat, ease your stomach, support your kidneys, reduce joint inflammation, and even help you sleep more deeply. It's not just a simple trick. It's a symbol of something much greater, that you're still caring for yourself, that you still deserve to be healthy and independent well into your later years. And if you learned something new from this video today, don't let the journey stop here. Keep exploring more powerful, practical health tips by choosing one of the videos now on your screen, or check the suggested list beside it, where we've carefully selected the most relevant and helpful content just for you. Because health is a journey, and our channel is here to walk that journey with you every step of the way. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss a single tip that helps you live longer, feel stronger, and stay happier. We'll see you in the next video. Wishing you good health and peace always.